sit? Thank you all for coming tonight. It's great to see so many of you here. And thank you, too, for all of those of you who are watching this at home. We usually begin with 2 featured speakers who each get 5 minutes to share their story. And then we have time for a couple of questions for each of the speakers. And then after our featured speakers, we open it up to anyone who would like to speak for 2 minutes about any topic. All speakers will get a 30-second warning, and then at the end of their time, they will hear the bell. If you would like to speak tonight, please fill out a yellow card and give it to Jim. Our board tonight includes Sharon Breitweiser, Klaus Habsgut, sorry, I just butchered it, Mike Selmer, Rodger McDaniel, Jim Erdelli, and me, Marian Erdelli. Also, PVA does not endorse any candidates or issues. Please pass the bucket during the meeting. Your donations go toward the use of this building, our Zoom account, supplies, expenses, and we truly, truly appreciate them. Please, before I turn this over to our moderator, please find someone you don't know and share what is new and good in your life for 2 minutes. Thank you.
Marian, should I pass this? Okay, this will be. Hi, Jenny. Oh. Evening, everybody. We'll wait for Lorraine to. Lorraine doesn't talk very much, so she's, if you know Lorraine. So again, another welcome to everybody. I don't know if we alluded to it last month, but we're now launched into our 8th year of PVA, of service. You know, I was just thinking when I was walking my track at the old high school, what a awesome community to give service to. I mean, just, and it's because of you guys and all the other people that show up that on behalf of the board, we want to thank you for your service, your energy, your commitment in having a great PVA. So we're alive and well. Okay, so we're going to start right off. We have only one featured speaker, not only. The other featured speaker, I think she's showing up in October, so that'll be good. We're going to start off with Karlee. Karlee's in the house, and she's going to talk about Grassroots Dems, and then we will have a question period. And I always tell folks, and you know this, my motto for PVA is respecting one another is a good thing. Okay, Karlee, Representative Provenza, you have the mic.
Thank you all for having me tonight. What a good turnout. I'll probably have other announcements about other things I'm doing later in the 2-minute segments. But for this segment tonight, we're going to talk about Grassroots Democrats. Grassroots Democrats was started in May, I believe. And essentially, we were watching as people were protesting and seeing, like, how do we help these folks learn how to organize in a way that builds power? And so power has been a main portion of our framework, and so we're trying to help folks learn how to do leadership development and so forth. So I'll just go over some of our goals, and maybe that'll help you understand what we're doing, because our hope is that it benefits our community broadly, not just Democrats, and certainly not just this group, but how does it impact the community? So Grassroots Democrats have 3 main types of goals. So we've got base building goals, so how do we grow our numbers? We've got leadership development goals. How do we build leaders in our community? Because if we're going to grow power, we have to have more people that are willing to be able to help us do the work and know what that work looks like. And then we have electoral goals. So the base building goals that we have, we want to have 2,800 people by 2028. Essentially, that just means that we will have enough people to enact change. I watch time and again as my colleagues over on the other side of the hill don't do things for the people of their districts because they understand that they have the power to do what they want, and someone with more power tells them what to do. With a number like 2,800 people and 100 leaders, we can say, if you don't do what we want you to do, we will replace you. That's what power's about. So 2,800 people by 2028. I'll talk about how we're going to do that here in a moment. We have the goal of developing 100 leaders by 2028. Again, you need 100 people that are going to help people maybe knock doors, that are going to show up in communities and provide services to people that need them, that are going to help spread the word and get those 2,800 people together. So building 100 leaders means that you have 100 people that are invested in making power something that's real and tangible. They're helping make decisions. They learn how to organize because the best model in organizing isn't about one person. It's about how can I educate 100 people that can go out into their community and find other leaders. And then our electoral goals. We want to flip Albany County blue by 2026. That's in the next election. We also want to make sure that we are supporting people that answer to the people of Albany County. So this is an Albany County model. It's called Grassroots Dems, but it's open. It's nonpartisan. We don't have a requirement for party. We just require that you care about people's dignity and fighting for your community. So how are we going to do that? Well, we've got 2 types of volunteer teams. We've got the research action team. And this research action team is creating information about what's on the 2026 ballot so that I can talk to my neighbors about how the property tax ballot initiative is going to impact them, how defunding the government is going to impact them. It's going to talk about the top 5 electeds and the SLIB board. How many people here know what a SLIB board is? Just a few folks, right? They make decisions about your public lands. So there's a whole bunch of civic education that most people don't have access to. And so we're trying to help develop the information that folks need so they can make informed decisions. And that research action team is going to hand over information to what we call the community building team. I think now more than ever, this week, this year, has demonstrated that we need community. In a world where people are getting shot, and just in the world that we live in, we need people to be able to have dinner. We need people to be able to sit across from their neighbors and disagree and still love them. And the hope with the community building team is that they host the opportunity for people to sit with each other, to love each other, and maybe disagree, but certainly inform them so that they can empower themselves to make the decisions that are wisest for them. So I've brought some sign-up sheets today. If you're interested in helping us do research, if you're interested in hosting a dinner, hosting a knitting party, hosting a Halloween party where you talk about all the scary expletive stuff on the ballot in 2026, please talk to me, and I'm more than happy to help. I also have some really stellar volunteers that are here today. Peggy McCracken is one of our volunteers. Lexi Thompson is one of our volunteers. And we've got some other volunteers that are here in the crowd. So anyway, thank you. Okay, I'll stay here.
Oh. Thank you. Okay, we'll take some questions. Mike's going to be the mic man, Mike Selmer. The question period is 1 question and 1 answer. Not a dialogue at this time. We'll be here till later after the meeting if you want to chit-chat with people. So, all right, we'll start off with a few questions. Sylvia, I see you.
I was curious, what has surprised you so far as you have gone around the state and talked with people?
Well, that'll be part of my 2-minute spiel of my road tour with the Democrats. I'll answer that, though. I think the biggest thing that has surprised me is just how much people are so hungry to be heard and to have conversations about what is impacting their lives in a vulnerable way, and that most people care about the same things. We want to be able to take care of our families. We want to be able to have access to childcare and health care and food and housing. And so many people are struggling to get access to those things, and they are deeply invested in being part of the solution. So not necessarily surprising as someone that believes in like the best in people, but I will say that it is deeply heartwarming to know that at least off the internet, people are great.
Thank you, Karlee. When you say you want to flip Albany County blue, are you referring just to the legislature or to the county courthouse, more widely Albany County, where we do have some other red spots?
Great question. I think in terms of when you're making a goal, you make one that you think is achievable, but is still also a reach. I would like to make the Albany County Commission Democratic-led, and I think that's doable.
So my question is, you're looking to grow it to 2,800 people. Are you taking those from the Democrats, or are you looking for 2,800 new people? Yeah. And how will you work with the Democrats?
Thanks, that's a great question. My hope is that once, like, as we know what our model is, that we can help infuse some of those people into the Democratic Party, like, officially, right? Some of those folks helping with kind of the party things that need to happen that aren't necessarily like the sexy things that most people want to go do in action out in the community, right? So we're trying to find new people with the hopes of being able to find a way to plug them into whatever it is, honestly, that sets their heart on fire. And so it's an avenue to maybe go back and forth. I'm not trying to take anybody from the Democratic Party. I think we're stronger when we have more groups together working towards the same problems, right? And so I think that they can benefit each other, but in hearing from the community, they want to be able to have things where they can go do these different actions, and so we're trying to provide an opportunity for them to do that as well.
Great to see you again. My name is Eric. Jesus says that we are to love our God with all our heart and all our spirit and all our body and all our mind, and to love our neighbors as ourselves. Yeah. I'm curious, what from the faith community do you see adding to your movement?
It's a great point. I think that the faith community has shown a timeless ability to bring people together and feed their neighbors. I think there's a lot to learn from the faith community, particularly as we're talking about feeding people, which I missed actually. One of the goals we have is 5,000 meals by May of 2028. We want to be able to provide 5,000 separate meals to people. So I think that the faith community can work together, and I think that in the political sphere, a separation of church and state is really important, but there's also, I think, that opportunity to like come back to, I love my neighbor, and how can I exercise my practice of loving my neighbor with my community? And I'm not as well versed in being able to talk about this, but there are people that talk about democracy as a spiritual practice. And I believe in loving my neighbor, and democracy are spiritual practices for me.
Thank you. Here's this is your official card.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll put your All right. We'll have our 2-minute speakers. We'll go through and listen to all the 2-minute speakers, and then another round of questions, starting again with Karlee. So, Eric has 2 cards, which is okay. I shuffled them. I can't read this first topic. The other words are treat Laramie, so I don't know what the first word is.
I'll help you.
I'm just new to the language.
I'll do them separate.
Yeah, you are going to do them separate.
Okay.
So.
All right. You want to do them a different time or same?
Different time, yeah, but let's do that. So what is your
Trunk or treat Laramie.
Oh, that's what it, okay, great,
Trunk or
okay.
treat Laramie is
If
always
you're on
Halloween.
camera, so.
Oh, yeah, all right. Trunk or treat Laramie is always on Halloween. It's always, therefore, October 31st. It's a school night this year, so the time for it will be 3 to 6 p.m. at the University Plaza. The Trail of Treats begins and ends at Perkins Restaurant and Bakery, and it's in the 8th year. We started the first year with like 328 participating youngsters that were age 15 and under, and this last year, each year through the successive years, we topped 1,600 in participating youth and their families. So it's a growing entity, and we'd love to have any of your groups, organizations, or individual families participate as trunkers, where you decorate your rear and back your car up to the sidewalks along the Trail of Treats, and fill in the spaces between each of the host businesses like the Hilton Garden Inn, McAllister's Deli, Perkins Restaurant and Bakery, and so forth, and be a part of that great event and give the community a 9th year running. Thank you. Ready for the next one?
Thank you, Eric. Eric's got another one coming up later. So, our next 2-minute speaker is Sylvia Bagdanis. She's going to talk about trap release workshop. Sylvia?
Hi, I wanted to let you know that YCAP, the Wyoming Coalition for Animal Protection, is sponsoring a free trap release workshop on Tuesday, October the 21st at the Holiday Inn. And the goal is to inform pet owners, particularly those who like to go with their dogs on hikes on the trails and on public lands, on how to release their dog if it is accidentally caught in the trap. That can be a leg trap or a snare or whatever, because unfortunately we keep hearing that people are encountering these types of events. Most people don't know that traps can be placed in Wyoming anywhere on trails and public lands. And so they go out, it's kind of like a minefield, and their dog is caught. And when that happens, you just have a very short time to get your dog released, and hopefully it won't have that many injuries or whatever. But I do have a lot of posters, and if you at your work site or in your volunteer organization have a bulletin board, or you can put these someplace and would like to take one, please see me afterwards, and I'd be glad to give you as many as you want. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. On a similar theme, the next 2-minute speaker is Donald O'Toole. He's going to talk about the migration corridor. Donald?
Good evening, folks. Normally when I'm here, I'm usually Job, talking about bad news relating to animals, but this is good news. Marav Ben David and I went up to the commission, the Game and Fish Commission meeting on September 12th, really for another purpose. But there was a long and very interesting discussion about the migration corridor for pronghorn in the Upper Green extending down to the Red Desert. And it passed unanimously by the commission. And it's not done. It's a very complicated process. It's going to go back to Gordon, and then Gordon has several ways in which it may handle it. But it was very interesting to watch. There was about 4 hours of commentary, and what struck me was it seemed to me the commission would be split, but because people spoke, and a lot of hunters spoke, and a lot of conservationists spoke, and a lot of former game and fish ungulate specialists spoke, and I thought I could sense that although they were under a lot of pressure from the stock growers and a lot of pressure from oil and gas, they, in the end, unanimously voted in support of it. It's the first and only time I've ever seen Jim Magagna, who was there, and whose ranch might be impacted in terms of being involved with the migration route. He argued strongly against the East of Farson and Red Desert component, but they decided to include it. So that's a major win for native wildlife in Wyoming, and I was very pleased. I think it just shows what a difference it makes when you fill the room. Because I think some of the people on the commission were kind of sitting on the fence, but that kind of pushed them. So good news. So next time something shows up that you're interested in, make sure the room is full.
Thank you, Donald. Next 2-minute speaker is Brett Glass, and Brett's going to talk about proposed city and code changes. Brett?
Yes, good evening, everyone. This Tuesday night, the City of Laramie is going to be considering a number of things, and one of the most interesting ones which did not receive any comment 2 weeks ago, but is potentially very impactful, is original ordinance number 2110, which has to do with changes to the zoning and to the building codes. And there are some things which people might agree with in this, and some things which people might not. It's going to, if it goes through as written, it will liberalize many of the uses that are allowed in certain zones. For example, it will allow residences in business zones, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because our business zones tend to blend into our residential zones and overlap with them. And right now there is this awkward thing called the residence over business overlay, which kind of tries to blend them but doesn't do a very good job. The problem is that the ordinance doesn't repeal this residence over business overlay, even though it proposes to eliminate the need for it. It will also propose, and this one is going to be controversial, to allow mobile home parks in all R3 neighborhoods, including the tree areas, even if they don't necessarily fit with the character of the neighborhood. We can expect some comment on that. It's going to allow people to remove parking or have less parking if they have bicycle parking, which is a little bit controversial because, well, adding bicycle parking doesn't necessarily mean to reduce the need for vehicle parking. In fact, if you get out of your car and you ride your bike instead, you might need more parking because, well, you're got to have a place to put your car while you use your bike. And another item, and I only have a little bit of time left, is that if people have accessory dwelling units, things like cottages on their property, it eliminates the requirement to provide parking for them, which means that the tenants of those or whoever's occupying them might need to park on the streets or otherwise congest the available parking. Anyway, let's talk more about this later. Thank you.
Thanks, Brett. Our next 2-minute speaker is going to be Liz Youngman. Liz is going to talk about constructive dialogue panel. Liz, welcome back.
Hello, everyone. I didn't organize this event that I'm going to be talking about or anything, but I thought that you all would be interested. Tomorrow, the State of the University address will include a construction dialogue panel that's going to include officers from various student organizations, including Turning Point and UW College Dems. And I think there's going to be a couple other ones, but I'm not sure. So I think in the wake of what happened last week with Charlie Kirk, it'll be a very interesting conversation regarding how we talk about issues on campus. So, let me give you the time and the location. It's tomorrow from 3:30 to 5 in the Wyoming Union Center and East Ballrooms. Yes, thank you.
So, Candace, do you want to speak tonight? Talk about your food or your playpen, or talk about mommy and daddy. You can talk about mommy and daddy. See ya. Good job. No, him, her. Okay. Eric, you're back up. Eric's going to talk about this time around generally Hispanic heritage and other things connected with the radio station.
That's right.
You're on.
That's right. Can't thank you guys enough. PVA Laramie has been one of the brightest parts of my 2025 year. The events that you guys bring forward and give details on, they help to inform the community, and this is an outstanding group. October 15th marks the 23rd year of KOCA's 93.5 FM's heritage and creation as an entity serving the Laramie area, and from September 15th to October 15th, Hispanic Heritage Month is celebrated by our group. We'll continue to do that leading up to Dia de los Muertos and doing those activities integrated with Historic Downtown Laramie, as well as other state entities like the State Museum in Cheyenne and so forth. I just wanted to give you a heads up. There'll be publications coming out and posters and so forth, but you guys are an alert, active group, and I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you and look forward to collaborating with each one of you. Shout out to Wyoming Coalition of Animal Protection, taking advantage of the invitation for 93.5 FM news and information. We've had 4 segments with respect to participants, recruitment of volunteers for programs, and it's hot in August, temperature in cars, the topics of silver and gray foxes, otters, bee plants, so much excitement to have that good content, and I thank you guys for participating.
Thanks again, Eric. Our final 2-minute speaker is, Karlee again. It's going to be Karlee talking about listening session. So, and then we might as well just keep you up here as we get into the question.
Thanks. So some of you probably have heard Mike Yin and I, who's the minority floor leader, and partnership with the Wyoming Democratic Party and with the county parties, have been traveling the state of Wyoming. We started in Laramie County, then we went to Natrona County, Fremont County, and Sweetwater County, and we've been doing listening sessions there. Just to give you an idea of what that means, because I think a lot of politicians are like, I listened, and they don't. So what we actually do is we open up the room and we have people sit in circles, and we have them talk with their neighbors about what keeps them up at night, what are the biggest problems that they're facing in their day-to-day lives. And they talk about that for 15 minutes, and then they share it out as tables with us, and we take notes on everything. Then the second question is, we've changed it a little bit, but we're trying to figure out what are the solutions that you want to see. What's the Wyoming and the vision that you want to see that we can work towards? Because we need a vision to work towards. And so the last couple times we've done give us your news headlines for the next 1 to 5 years. If you opened a paper and you were like, wow, I'm so excited that's the headline today, that's what you want to see. And so folks have been doing that. Next up, we will have Sharon, I believe on the 24th or 25th, and then we'll be in Park County, and then we're going to go to Buffalo. So we've got 3 more left, and then likely I'll be reaching out to the county party here to do a coming home series where I would come home to Albany County and do the same thing here with you. So that might also mean we end up in Jackson as well with Representative Yin, which is his home district. So that's what we're doing for listening sessions. And I'll stay here for questions.
Okay, we're in the question period for all the speakers, and we'll start with Karlee, who was first. Karlee, we'll take both your topics. So, any questions for Karlee on Grassroots? Going once. Okay. It's a question. Yeah. Eric?
Representative Provenza, you mentioned the awareness that you came across that people really wanted access, they really wanted to be heard across the state of Wyoming. Is that something that would compel you to accept invitations to media, radio, print, digital, for that access for questions and providing more answers and informations in the coming year or in the future period?
Eric, let's just put it on your calendar before I leave, and we'll book a time. He's been asking for a long time, and I'm just too dang busy. But we'll just make it happen today.
Anything else on Grassroots for Karlee?
Uh-oh.
Candace, you gotta show up here.
Okay, great.
Erect the altar. Any questions for Karlee on listening session? Okay, Sharon?
It's got to be at least a little bit expensive with travel and all the places you're going. Is this something that the State Democratic Party's funding? Are you being able to fund it out of your legislative meager pay? Or, I mean, if I don't want to be too personal on this, but just in terms of your financial needs for this type of extensive outreach.
Yeah, fortunately, Representative Yin and I have been able to raise funds for our political action committee, which is helping us with costs. I would ask you, though, to donate money to the Democratic Party because they have sent people to this at almost every meeting, and I believe the costs for stay and gas have come out of their personal pockets. So help them out in making sure that they're there, because they serve the purpose of also listening, because I think that there's the hope and the potential that will produce some idea of like, what's the Democratic Party going to do now that we know what people across Wyoming want, and how can we deliver that and be separate from what we're seeing, which is Some of our lawmakers are bringing their solutions from Washington, D.C. rather than from their communities. And so it's important that the party also hears what we should be working on.
One of the things that overwhelms me is not only the extent of the problems that we're facing, but so many different groups sending emails and asking for input, but you can only input if you pay at the end. You can't finish. So I'm wondering, is there some way to better coordinate rather than having 100 emails a day to try to do what we think needs to be done, but nobody can respond to that many different asks?
Well, Jenny, I don't know if you know this, but the answer to world peace is just more emails. So we'll be. I mean, maybe there is a way to coordinate, but reality is that you have to hear something a bunch of different times often before you act on it, right? And you have to find the things that cater to you. If we're just only all going to get the same email, and that gives a lot of power to one person, right? So I would encourage you to sign up for emails from people that you trust, people that maybe you share values with. I would also encourage you to sign up for emails from people that you disagree with. One, we need to understand what the messaging is. Two, we need to be able to build community with some of those folks. So I don't know, personally, Jenny, I would, and maybe I'll be unelected for this statement, but I'd like to ban email. I hate it. I'm not very good at it. I try my best. But yeah, you're right, there's a lot. And there's just a lot of information. Some of the hope with at least Grassroots Dems is, can we, if we get enough volunteers, can we start creating some sort of like newsletter that helps supplement the information? Because while we've got decent media in our community here compared to other parts of the state, there's just not a ton of information about what's happening at your city council, what's happening at your county commission, how's your state legislator doing on book banning laws. I mean, you've got groups like Better Wyoming that are helping with some of those issues, but there's also issues that just aren't being met that people have questions about and don't know how to get information on. Government should be more approachable and transparent, and unfortunately emails aren't going to save us, but I don't think we're going to get out of them either.
Hi. I was wondering when you're done with this tour, like how it's going to be, like the information is going to be shared, and if the people that can't make it, if there's going to be like some way that people can like then like, is it going to be a thing that keeps on growing and added to, or what that looks like?
Great question. I don't think we have like a long-term plan quite yet. We're kind of like, this is the first iteration of it, and I think there will probably be something more in the future, but I don't know what that will look like, and I don't want to overpromise. But the hope is that once we're done with this, that we're going to sit down and synthesize what's the through line, what are the main themes, what are people asking for, what are some of the solutions that are coming, and try to like figure out exactly what that is and share that either with, there might be some version of that that goes out to the public, or whatever. We haven't identified exactly what that'll look like just because I don't know what it says yet, right? Like we're a little more than halfway through. Hopefully that answers your question. But I have a sign up sheet tonight, so if you want to put your name on there, then I'll make sure that you receive kind of our updates as they come. There won't be an update until this is over, and probably sometime after that, because we'll have to sit down and figure everything out. But you will get some sort of information from us. Probably an email, but my hope is, and some of my volunteers with Grassroots Dems know this, we try to text everybody when we have volunteer opportunities. So anyway, Texting will soon be the new email, Jenny, and then we'll just have to throw our phones in the ocean. Yeah. We'll actually start doing ads that run in your mind. It'll be terrible. Yep, thank you.
And just a reminder, we on the board, we hang out an extra half hour or so after the official session, so if you want to talk, whatever, we'll be here. Okay, Eric, you were the second speaker, so we'll take Eric Henderson. Anything for Eric on trunk or treat? Still can't read. Trunk or treat Laramie, or Frank or treat, or whatever.
Trunk or treat Laramie.
Looks like Frankenstein, but that's okay. Any question on that for Eric? Jenny? Get the mic. We're live streaming.
Yes. Excuse me. I'm not quite sure what happens with these trucks. I mean, I'm not quite sure. Is it?
I'm so excited that you asked. Everyone in the University Plaza, the businesses that exist, have welcomed Trunk or Treat Laramie as an entity. It started with Rocket Fizz years ago with Wendy Pratt, and it grew with 28 trunkers. The trunkers decorate the rear of their vehicles, and some put characters, some make different themes. They decorate the ends of their vehicles. They pop open the back trunks, and New Life Church comes and they do a carnival for the kids between Perkins and Studio City. There's bounce houses, and there's games and activities, free hot dogs, like 1,000 hot dogs they gave away the last 5 years. These kind of things and more all supplement what happens in between. The Human Being of Laramie, Laramie Range Ford, they come in and they fill in. Obviously, they don't have businesses specifically in the plaza itself, so they come in and they fill in the gaps that take youngsters through. The Albany County Fire Department, the Sheriff's Department. We've had great participation in the community public works, and I-80 Towing puts a long strap down from their big horn off of one of their biggest trucks, and the kids get to yank on it and make all kinds of racket, and fortunately we're not violating the noise ordinances at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and kids get to have a great amount of fun. Whether you're an insurance agency or you're an individual, you're welcome to come. And if you need ideas, about the top of October, I start putting out ideas for decorating your vehicle. And if you express interest, we'll do that. I try to connect people with the best candy ideas, the best prize ideas. The American Legion has been a part of the event for 7 years. Sometimes the Hilton Garden Inn has done a haunted ballroom or something of that nature. So a lot of things, and I hope that helps in that regard. Any other questions? Go ahead. Yeah. Ginny for 2 in a row.
Do you know anything about the details of when Sonia Sotomayor is coming to Wyoming?
At this time, I do not, Ginny, but I will make that on my list for tomorrow and find as much as I can about that.
I just know it was moved from campus to Cheyenne.
I will find out all I can about that.
Okay.
Thank you. Hey.
Any questions for Sylvia on trap release workshop? So, Sylvia, you have to come up. We have a question. So, okay. Sharon?
Sylvia, I picked up a flyer, but could you announce again the date and time?
Yes, it's on Tuesday, October the 21st at 6:30 to 8 at Holiday Inn.
Yes. Questions for Donald O'Toole on migration corridor? Okay. Any questions for Brett Glass on zoning and codes, the changes and city council? Yes. Oh, that's not a question. Okay. Anything for Brett? Okay, thank you. Any questions for Liz Youngman on constructive dialogue panel? Okie dokie. And that's it. Thank you, folks. Next meeting is October 20th. I know that because it's the day after my birthday and I'll be in Cleveland, so you won't see me. Thank you, everybody. Have a peaceful evening. We'll be here. Go in peace. Thank you.